Hello, everybody. How you all doing? Welcome to tonight's weekly message from Spirit. It's a Monday again. Can you believe it? I hope you've had a fantastic week and a wonderful Monday. So, as we settle in and connect and get ready to see what it is that we get offered as a perspective for this week, as we're moving into the full moon energies, the moon is building up to her full glory, yeah? So it's a time of emotion. There's a lot going on for many people, and there's been some beautiful messages about how to work with the stories that have been coming up for us. And so I'm sure that'll manifest itself tonight and come through somewhere in the way that we talk about things tonight. So come on board. If you're new here, welcome. If you're one of the people that I have met and connected with many times, or one of the tribe, welcome. It's always lovely to connect with you. It's a special thing for me to do. Right, so I'm going to start off tonight, as always, with the crystal for the week and see what came forward with that. And then we will go into the weekly message, which is sort of like a universal weather report for everybody that finds themselves coming online to this message. And then I'll be doing some personal readings and seeing what comes up there. So the crystal that came forward tonight is a crystal that causes quite a lot of conspiracy, or quite a lot of disruption in this in the crystal world. And the crystal is Aqua Quartz. So this is the beautiful card by Lana Fairchild with the mandala. You can see it's with Ascended Master Mary Magdalene. And there's this beautiful word, alchemy, divine alchemy. And I'll talk more about that now, because Aqua Quartz, there's a piece of it. I only have a piece that is this is a charm for a necklace. You'll see it comes in this beautiful turquoise glassy kind of look. You do get it in other colors as well, especially like a very, very vibrant pink color. And the reason it causes some conspiracy is because it's technically man-made. So it's been heated up to be able to create this. And there are many man-made crystals that are sold under the pretense. So, for example, we get a thing called opalite, which is, it's a man-made crystal, is sold often as opal. And this causes quite a lot of disruption because technically it's fraud. But when we look at Aqua Aura, it is sold as this man-made quartz. And it is magnificent. It's got a beautiful frequency of light in it. And that frequency is held because of the alchemy of the divine and the human. And so when we look at this word alchemy, it's about a coming together, about a joining, about making something from nothing, and using things at our disposal. And essentially, our life is an alchemical process. It's a process of making ourselves into something, of expanding into it. And so Aqua Aura comes forward, and it's about how are you partnering with the world? How are you partnering with the divine? How are you merging and becoming more rather than the separateness process? Alchemy is always a process of pulling things together. It's never a process of separation. And so what's the alchemy of you would be the core question that Aqua Aura asks. So with that in mind, let us connect with my guides and see what it is that they want to tell us this week. I just want to make sure my phone is off. Apologies. Let me just see that it's off. Right, so it is. So that's good news. All right, so I'm going to connect with the guides and call them forward to bring forward messages that support the highest good for everybody who comes online tonight or happens to listen to this message tomorrow. If you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, they're always there. So if you wanted to go back and listen to the previous archives of this message, you can do that. And as always, I'm going to pull 3 cards. You can think of these as sort of prescription for the week, the energetic support system that you've got going on. And so the first card, as always, is What do we need to pay attention to this week? What's the wake up, shake up kind of message that's coming forward for this week? Then what support is available, because there's always support. The question is whether we're open to receiving it. And then what opportunities exist this week? So the opportunity is, how do we step more into our light and more into the abundance that awaits us? Right, so there we have it. There's the 3 cards. So let us see what they want to tell us tonight. All right, so the first message, the message of what, how do we need to wake up this week? What do we need to pay attention to this week? And the card that's come forward here is you are safe. This is one of the core cards, one of the core messages. You can see this comes forward in terms of deal with your fear. That's the suit that this belongs to. You are safe. And I just love the imagery on this card, sort of these, what are they called now? Just the words left me. These skydivers that are jumping down to earth. And there's this beautiful moment of free falling, of just reveling in this beautiful light and letting yourself just free fall and trusting, knowing full well that there is a parachute and you are going to be able to pull the parachute and you are going to land safely. And so when we think of this as the metaphor they're saying for our life, is that everything that you're experiencing, you have a parachute for. There's nothing you come to earth that you can't handle. Now, this is not meant to sound like some sort of spiritual escapism, because we do that a lot. I mean, we use spiritual terms quite significantly to escape away from the difficulties. Oh, it's happening for a reason, and someone, the divine, has a plan, and I must have attracted this. Oh, it's karma. All these things. That's not what we're talking about at all. We're saying in the contract to experience your life the way you did, you came here with access to all the resources you need. And accessing the resources is probably the biggest skill. Learning how to access and ask for support, or receive guidance and listen to it or act on it, to be able to trust your own heart when there's a divine inspiration to act on something in a certain way. The sort of safety net that we need, of all the tools that we need to actually face the complexities of our life, is available to us. But most of the time we're either too independent, or we're a little bit blocked, or we're a little bit stubborn, or any of these things, and then we separate ourselves away. And remember this divine alchemy of the Aqua aura again. Remember that beautiful crystal that came forward about how do you alchemize? How do you allow yourself to work with your spirit, with your guides, with divinity, and with others on earth? This is not about independence. It's also not about codependence. It's about interdependence. And when you can truly, truly allow yourself to navigate life, knowing you can ask for the support you need, and you can access what you need when you don't have it, then you are able to truly embrace the awareness of your safety. So let's make it clear, they're saying you are safe does not mean that there aren't difficult things that we're dealing with. You are safe means we are here to support you. Now, if we had to use this as a simplistic answer, let's imagine you don't have enough money. They're not here to give you money. They're here to access the resources inside of you to face the situation you're in, and then to figure out what is going on, and then how to work with it, and what to heal, and how to grow, and how to change that circumstance. So remember, suffering is an optional experience. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. But you are safe. Now, the other thing that comes up, and they really want me to talk about this, it's been coming up a significant amount of times in the last few weeks, is you are safe is about bypassing the instinctive nervous system that we have going on in our body. Our body is like any animal. It lives in the instinct of fear, and the instinct of death, and the instinct of protecting themselves. And our body codes things as dangerous even when they may not be. So we may have had an experience where we faced something that was quite difficult. Let's imagine I was 7 years old and I was in a classroom and everybody laughed at me when I was saying a speech. And that became a memory for me of, like, feeling belittled, unheard, ridiculed, whatever it was. And my body went into coding that. This is dangerous. It's dangerous when you stand up here. It's dangerous when you speak. It's dangerous when people laugh at you. And now you could be 45, 50 years old, and there could be certain things that happen in your world, and it triggers a slight memory of that, and your body goes into the same instinct and essentially responds the same way it always has. And this automatic instinctive response holds us very, very small and holds us in a state of continuing to relive the trauma that we've experienced in our life. And it takes quite a lot of will and awareness to notice that and to then breathe through that and say, that's not what's happening. I actually have the resources to deal with it. The 45-year-old Taryn can actually handle this much better than the 7-year-old Taryn can. And so I don't have to respond from the old story. I can respond from here. And in that, I have to change my neurology. I have to change the muscle experience I have. And so this week, it's a lot about noticing what's getting triggered that is from the past, that if you were able to breathe into it and notice, okay, this just needs a new perspective. This just needs a new resource. This just needs me as a wiser, more mature version of me to take control. And I hand it over to, and my spirit will help me if I let them. Yeah. So it really is a recoding. So we've heard a lot about, the sort of ascension process. The ascension process is a lot about recoding our body and not letting our body to just repeat its patterning, because it's what we've experienced so far. And so it's a week of recoding, they're saying, this divine alchemy that's coming forward. And so knowing you are safe, just saying those words to yourself when that automatic response hits, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe. This is the mantra they offer for the week. So what support is available for us this week? Okay, own the part you are playing. So I've already started to talk about this in terms of noticing our responses, noticing how we react to what is going on in our life. I've had a significant amount of experiences lately, and something happens and I can feel in my body how I react. I can feel sort of something, or some old wound taking over. I can feel every part of me shutting down, protecting myself, doing, living in that old story, so to speak. And when we can own that, the thing we like to do is blame what's happening on the outside. When we can own it without punishing ourselves and without judging ourselves, we can just own it and say, okay, what are my alternatives? What are other ideas I have here? And you may need some friends to help you out with this. You may need people in your life that can offer you an alternative perspective of what's going on, because we get quite hijacked into our experiences. And to notice that then the way we react to something is actually what sets in motion what goes on, not actually what happened. So something happens, and I get this opportunity to respond to it from my higher self or from my wounded self. And the wounded self is not trying to be perfect. Part of this is owning your vulnerability. Vulnerability as a human being, and somebody watching is going to love me saying that tonight. Yeah, you're not here to be infallible. You're not here to be superhuman. You're not here to be perfect. So when we're saying responding from your high self, it's the compassion for your pain. It's sitting back and knowing and saying, sure, this hurts. This is difficult for me. I need some love. I need to be held. I need some support. I need some space. I need some words. I need something. And so when you can own the part that when you get triggered, is a word that we often use, we shut down, is that's the time to breathe and call in and receive. And then you can shift your entire experience. Right, so what opportunities exist for this week? Oh, this card keeps coming up. It just keeps coming up. So clearly it's important with the energy at the moment. Express yourself. I think it's going to be like the third or fourth time in the last 4 or 5 weeks that it's come up for these readings. So this message from Spirit to use our voices, use our hands, use our bodies, use the life that we've been given to impact, to make a difference. Now, this is not the impact to make a difference to the world in the sense of sometimes we get overwhelmed by like wanting to feed every hungry child and stop people from hurting every animal and so on and so forth. And whilst these are really important causes, these are not the things they're talking about tonight. They're talking about feeding the child within you and loving yourself, and through that creating an energetic vibration where you are doing more of that intrinsically. So it's expressing yourself in your little world. There's no point in being all expressive over Facebook about how opinionated you are about something, and then when somebody asks you how are you, you just shut down and withdraw and don't let them see. Or you're sitting in a meeting where somebody asks, what do you think? Or at a function or with your family, and you don't use your words, you don't express yourself in your closed circle. Then expressing ourselves in the broader circle doesn't really help because it's incongruent. It's a mismatch of energy. And so learning how to express ourselves in our natural world, when people ask you how you are, what's an authentic expression of that? We don't need to go around telling everybody everything, but it is about what's the authentic expression of you in the world. How do you align yourself to be able to use your words and your heart and your hands and your body and the way that you show up? I don't know if you've ever heard these words, but they're showing it now, is that you might know somebody and you kind of want to ask, will the real you please stand up? And there's so many expressions, there's so many ways of showing yourself, but will the real you please stand up? Where's the real person behind all this? And that's what Express Yourself is about. It's a call for small actions of authentic expression. Yeah, small actions. Now, this does not mean you need to walk around telling everybody everything all the time, because that's not authentic expression, that's exhibitionism. And exhibitionism is a radically different energy. Authentic expression is discernment, and it's considered, and it's appropriate, but it's also not hidden. So what I mean by that is if somebody asks me a question, it's appropriate for me to answer. And the discernment is I can answer without being critical or making someone else wrong or doing anything in a way that is dismissive to the person that's asked me. And I can express my words with kindness and let them know this is who you're speaking to. This is what my truth is. Yeah. All right. So what a beautiful weekly message. Right. So let us see if you would like a reading. I'm going to do readings now. Sorry, my ears are ringing unbelievably. That just means Spirit has stepped into the room in a big way. They're loving to do that at the moment. All right, so I'm going to do some readings. If you'd like a reading, you just have to ask. I'll get through as many people as I possibly can. I don't scroll back up, so just keep asking. And the way it works is I get drawn intuitively to give messages to those whose reading is going to serve the greatest good of everybody involved. So if I don't call your name, it doesn't mean I don't see you or I don't love you, or your guides don't see you or don't love you. just means there might be a message that's already come up that's appropriate for you. So just have a look or have a listen and see what happens for you. Right, Lucy, let's start with you. Please, may I have a reading this week? Yes, you may. Let us start with you, my love. If you're part of any spiritual groups or even to your own page, I'd really appreciate if you share this out. It's always lovely to get these messages out into the world and to get as many people as possible noticing their own lights and learning how to walk in their own light, because that's the purpose. Right, Lucy, let us see what your guides want to tell you. All right, Lucy. The message that's coming forward for you is turn and face your future. Your past does not define you. Turn and face your future. Your past does not define you. All right, so there's a female guide that's stepping forward for you, and I say there's a female guide because it does not seem to be the guide that normally works with you. So we all have a male and female spiritual guide that work with us continuously. But often what we do have is we have access to a guidance realm, which is a realm of many guides. And there are guides that we can call on for any aspect of what we're wanting to work with. So if I wanted to learn how to play music, I could call on guides for music. And if I wanted to learn how to, do a new task, I could call on guides for this. And there's this guide that's stepping forward, and your guides are there, but they're presenting this guide. And this guide seems to have, this guide does have, they have a quill in their hand. And so there's the skill of express yourself. Remember the card from earlier, but this is the skill of writing, of using the gift of writing as a way of getting messages across. And so when they connect these messages, turn and face your future, your past does not define you, there seems to be a need to learn a new way of doing something. So there's this new skill to be learned. And it seems to be the skill of writing, or the skill of using writing in a different way. And so your guides are really they're giving me quite a strong message of showing up to learn about writing. This could be personal expression, it can be storytelling, it could be poetry, it could be business writing. They're giving me quite a range of it, but it's sitting in the awareness that this is a skill that is needed and you can learn it. I'm not sure if it's something you do already, but there's something about improving it or getting better at it or using it, and there's a need to learn, there's a need to be studious about this and to practice and to not give up, because they're giving me the message of I have a friend and she always wanted to be a writer. She is a great author, and when she was in school or in varsity, one of her lecturers said something to her about her writing, and it still causes this wound in her. And so every time she writes, she thinks of what this one person said to her, and that really, really sort of sabotages and impacts her. And so we need to almost overcome things we've heard in the past or beliefs we've created in the past, or anything that we've had from a past experience, because remember this, you are safe, all the things that were happening in the overall message. And so they're saying it's time to learn the skill or practice the skill or get more information or more feedback around the skill. Yeah, so I hope that makes sense for you, Lucy. Something you need to learn about writing. Giles may not, so let us see what your guides would like to tell you tonight. All right, Giles, let's see. Let us see. Pleasure, Lucy. I hope it makes some sense to you. They're very specific. All right, Giles. Enjoy the present moment. Enjoy the present moment. So there's a number of ways that your guides are coming forward about this. Charles says, yay. They're really wanting to take this word moment and give you some context around it. So when they're saying enjoy the present moment, they're not saying look at your life and see what's going on that's good for you now. They're not saying that, because enjoying the present moment is enjoying every moment as it is. So the moment as I fall asleep is as beautiful as the moment when I wake up, because each of those moments serves what I need to do next. And so the moment when I'm in transition or in traffic, or the moment where I'm eating, or the moment where, and there's this call for valuing the simple in your life. Yeah, there's a tendency for you, they say, to discount the small things and only value the big things. So only if it's really, really a big deal do we enjoy it or celebrate it. And so this is really a call for enjoying simplicity. What are the tiny little moments, the repetitive moments? They're saying that's an important word for you. Repetitive moments that are as treasurable, is that a real word? They're making it up. As treasurable as some of the bigger things. Yeah, it's capturing it. It's noticing the tininess. They're saying they really, really, really are offering this to you as a perspective to notice in a day the tiny things that are worth smiling about, worth capturing, worth valuing. So there you have it. I hope that makes sense for you, my love. Right, Lelania, my love, how are you all? Let us see next steps for work. Right, let's next steps work related. Not always sure you're going to like the messages. Oh, good, I'm glad, Giles. I hope it's a Giles or guys, it's Giles, I hope. Okay. All right, Lelania, my angel. So next steps when it comes to work. The card that's coming forward is let your heart overflow with kindness. So let me just make the link and see what they're trying to tell us. So I have set the context about next step with work. So your female guide's the one that's come forward, and she kind of is she's kind of playing with this energy of kindness, and she says sorry, I'm just trying to find that they give me some random connection. I'm trying to understand what they're doing. So she keeps associating the word kindness with kindredness, the kindred heart, the kindred spirit. And the word kindred, she's saying, is one of like-mindedness, or like associated through some sort of connection. There's a kinship, a kind, there's a kind, we are one of a kind would be the way that she's doing. Sure, they really are using this card in a way that they've never used it before. This is my challenge with these cards, is they find the card and then they weave in all sorts of things. So she's saying, so when we look at the next steps, it doesn't really need to be as much of the next steps, but more about the sort of needing to connect with kind, those of your kind, is what she's saying. And so when your heart is allowed to navigate to those of your kind, so there's this message of connection, there's this message of collaboration, there's this message of abundance, of connected creation. And so there seems to be a very, very strong message of noticing where it is possible for you to collaborate or connect with those kindred spirits that are part of your life, part of your world, and to notice what are the opportunities for collaboration, connection, even if it's collaborating with them for idea generation or for support or for any of these things, is to not navigate this from a loneliness perspective. There's an ability to connect with kindred spirits, and let your heart lead that. So I hope that makes sense for you, my darling. Very interesting way that they connected in with that card. Wow. Right, I saw somebody here. Zenny, I saw you. I know I say I don't scroll back up, but they keep showing me I need to come back to you. All right, Zenny, let's do a reading for you tonight, my love. Let's see what your guides would like to tell you tonight. All right. Pleasure, Lelania. All right, so Zenny, choose to trust. Let's see if the guides love me today. They love you every day. When I do a reading for you, it's not got anything to do with whether they love you or not love you. You're very, very sacred and very, very special. So choose to trust is the message they're coming forward with. So the way they are representing this is that the sort of level of doubt of your impact there's almost a question you've got about, are you doing enough, or the impact you're having, is it enough? The sort of idea that you should be doing more, or there needs to be more impact. This keeps coming up as the way that they're talking about it, and they're saying like this is about trusting the impact you're having by being who you are, not even by doing anything. Just by you showing up in a room, you have an impact that is enough, and you can always do what's next, and if that feels like more for you, that's fine, but there's no need to sort of grade any aspect of yourself against this question of, am I doing enough? Is it enough? Should I be doing more? What a different way of thinking about it, they're saying, is to notice, what do I have to offer today? And if I'm offering and it's not taking anything away from me, and I'm going to say that again, if I'm offering something and it's not taking anything away from me, then what more is there? There is nothing more. When we start doing, is this enough? Then we start offering things that take away from us, and then we end up being depleted rather than the serving in the entire way that we need to. So they're saying, yep, it's more than enough. Just you are more than enough. Just being you is enough. And notice what there is to offer without it anything being taken away from you. You don't need to lose energy. You don't need to sacrifice yourself for anything. Yeah, that's when you're making the greatest contribution. I hope that makes sense for you, my darling. Right, let's see. Hamlata. Lata Patel. I hope I am lucky this week. You are lucky every week. Whether I choose to do a reading for you or not does not make you more or less lucky. They're full of nonsense tonight, aren't they? All right, Lata, let us see what your guides would like to tell you tonight. Let's see what their message for you is, my darling. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm saying, oh, wow, and you're not seeing the card, which is not very nice. Let your heart overflow with kindness. So we saw this card come up for Lelania. A very different message I want to give with it, though. Okay, Hamlata, when I connected with your guides, all they keep telling me is that you are very, very hard on yourself, that you're very harsh. So the inner language, I'm glad, Zenny, the language to yourself is very, very harsh. It's quite like you have, as many of us do, you have a way of speaking to yourself that is not very nice. Yeah, there's an expectation of being so like doing the right thing. You must do it properly, and almost the expectation of perfection that comes forward very strongly. And this inner dialogue is it's quite toxic. What I mean by toxic is, and really this is, it happens for so many of us, is imagine sitting all day in your body listening to that all day. You're not good enough. Why didn't you do this? When are you going to do that? And so this critical voice is something that needs a balance. And so they're saying it's time to employ a kind voice in your mind. Who's the cheerleader? Who's the voice of compassion? Who's the voice of saying, Hamlata, you're doing a great job. Well done. You did the best you could. Keep trying. You know, you're making great progress. You're amazing. You're special. You're lovely. You're beautiful. This voice needs to be internalized. There's a need for a kind voice to soften your body, to soften your system. Because what happens is our physical body responds to the way we speak to ourselves. And this sort of brings a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of turmoil, a lot of anxiety. And so this voice of criticism is not a bad voice. It's a voice trying to help you, trying to support you, but it's not balanced out with the voice of kindness. And speak to yourself like you'd speak to a child that you love, a child that needs support, is to bring that into your world. Okay, I hope that makes sense for you, my darling. Right, let us see who's here. Lorianne de Campley Douglas. Recovering from major surgery is their card for me. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you've been going through a tough time like that. All right, Lorianne, sending you an abundance of healing energy. Let us see what your guides would like to tell you. So much of a pleasure, Hamlata. Such a pleasure, such a pleasure. All right, Lorianne, let us see. Oh, sorry, I'm just connecting in with your energy. How long ago did you have the surgery, Lorianne? Can you just give me how long ago it's been? If you're there and you're able to answer me, it would be great. So when I connect in with your energy, that's why I'm asking. I'm just wanting to help support bringing some of your energy back. It's a little scattered, which is not a problem. It's not anything to be worried about. Just trying to get a sense of timing. So the card that's come up is it's time to give up. 3 weeks. Okay. I was getting 3 hours. No, it was 3 days, 3 weeks. I was hoping it wasn't 3 hours. All right, 3 weeks. Okay. So the message that's come up is it's time to give up. Yeah. It's time to give up. Okay, so I'm just connecting in. So through the connection, your guides have come in and they're busy sort of just bringing your energy back to you. So often when we go through quite disruptive surgery, and they show me it's been quite disruptive, energy gets a little bit scattered. It's not anything for us to worry about. It just almost, we can just pull it back together, and that will feel supportive in itself. So if you just allow yourself to kind of receive, they're doing a bit of an energetic Reiki session for you. Very nice. Yeah. All right. So as they do that and they continue doing that, they show me you're softening and allowing that to happen. So that in itself is going to be a little bit warmer and a little bit more comforting for you. They show me that you're being very brave, but there's still quite a lot of pain and quite a lot going on for you from a pain sort of management perspective. Does that make sense? So just let me know if that resonates for you. They're wanting to do some very specific stuff. So I'm going to need to ask you these questions. Sorry. Oh, now the system's done something weird. Okay, so I will get to more messages. I just wanted to work with Lorianne a little bit, so just be a little bit patient with me because her guides are asking me to just kind of hold the space for some healing energy to come forward. I just want to know where you are from a pain perspective, Lorianne. Okay, a lot of pain. Okay. Okay, so I apologize. It's not what I normally want to do online, but I always do what I'm told. I'm just going to, so Lorianne, if you could just kind of breathe in and out gently, and I'm just going to work. All right, 6 to 8 week recovery. That's fine. They just asked me to help work with soothing some of the pain. And then I'll explain what the message is that they're giving. Breathing is important. Okay, so Lorianne, the way when I connect in with your energy, so firstly I get a profound amount of pain across my eyes and the top half of my head. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of need for sort of like a comfort, even darkness that's there. I get quite a lot of stiffness down the one side of my body and quite a lot of pain. It's very hard for me to pinpoint exactly where the pain is. But I do get this very strong need for comfort around the eye area. That's not necessarily sleeping, but there is darkness, and it is about letting yourself, like it's almost like you trying to be too brave, they're saying, or you're trying to do more than you should be doing. I hate using that word. So they're saying it's useful to slow it down a little more. Slow yourself down. There's no need to be a hero or heroine here. That's been part of the pattern. Part of the pattern is almost being the martyr and pushing yourself and being very brave and being very strong. It can be quite useful to almost just step into the stillness, step into the quietness, step into the darkness, and let yourself kind of receive. Go into this receptive energy, which is what they're doing now. Sure, there's a lot of pressure on my head. I'm not sure if that's where all the pain is, but a lot of pressure on my head. Okay, so they kind of want to stop the reading because they don't want you to be thinking too much. They want you to just live in the receptive energy. They've asked that I've set up a field around you, and with your permission, they can continue to support your energy field and work at it. What happens when we go through energy gets quite scattered, and they can. It's hard to be still. I understand, and that's where there's a need for a little bit more support than you're getting at the moment. So this could be the tiredness that I'm picking up. Yeah, I mean there's a lot going on. I didn't want to mention the abdomen. Yeah, Lorianne, the message that's very, very, very clear, my love, is that it's giving up on the need to be better than you are, and letting yourself receive more help, asking for help if that's possible, and doing the bare minimum, doing a little bit less if that's possible. Not through any need for any fear, or there's no sort of like amplification of anything you need to be fearful of, but there is noticing this pattern and letting yourself rest a bit more. I mean, I get a profound amount of heaviness across my eyes and that, and so that's really is this. There's a need for more quietness, more stillness. I know how hard that is, but that's the message they're giving. I know how hard that is. All right, Yentl, let us see what your guides want to tell you. Let's just shake that off. the gifts of the empath, yeah? And we can feel it all, and then we have to shake it all off, yeah. All right, gentle, let's see what your guides want to tell you tonight. Oh no, come now. All right. I'm saying, oh no, come now, because it's the third time. Sending you so much love, Lorianne. You are healing beautifully. Let yourself rest and take it easy. Don't try and be a hero, please, a heroine. Okay, Yentel, the message that came forward, the reason I'm laughing is this is the third time that this message has come forward tonight. So that's why I said I can't believe it. Let your heart overflow with kindness. I asked them if I can draw a second card for you to work with it, and they said yes. And the second card that came forward is connect back to source. So you have two cards: let your heart overflow with kindness and connect back to source. The way they are connecting in with you is they're showing the real need for you to please know that these are not my words. I am the interpreter from Spirit. They're saying you need to calm down. Does that make any sense to you if I say you need to calm down? I know there's not a single human being in the history of Earth that calm down when they're told to calm down, but they're saying there's a need for some compassion, there's a need for some calmness. It's almost like you're in hyperdrive. There's a hyperness to what's going on for you, and that hyperness is kind of like holding a very high state of, I don't know if it's anxiety, or what's happening, but it's like a breathing in and connecting into the source of you, and knowing that you can let yourself, kindness is a very interesting thing. It's very hard for us to be kind to ourselves and to others when we're tense, when we're uptight, when we're wound up, when we're doing these things. So the sort of ability to unwind ourselves and come back to what would be the kindest thing to do right now. Kindest thing to do might be to say nothing. The kindest thing to do might be to try something else. The kindest thing might be to give ourselves a break. And so there's this, Yentl, they keep just saying to me, you need to breathe. And breath work would be really valuable for you to bring your system back into a state of calmness, so that there can be more kindness to yourself and therefore more kindness to others. Now, this does not mean you're being unkind to others, but it boils over. it just boils over. So I'm not sure where you live, if it is nighttime where you are, but it's time for a bath. Some beautiful music, candles. If you drink a glass of wine, have a glass of wine if that's useful for you. But breathing space, please. They're saying it's time for some breathing space so that your system can calm down. Right. Hope that makes sense. All right, let us see here. Bronwyn Daly, thanking you in advance. Have I done a reading for you, Bronwyn, tonight? No. Medley, the pain related more to me. Okay, I'll check in with that, Kim. Let's just see. All right, Bronwyn, I think you're asking for a reading. I don't think I've done one yet for you. I think you're just thanking me in advance for your reading. Let us see what your guides want to tell you tonight. Okay. Cards are on repeat now tonight, so now we know. Enjoy the present moment. Enjoy the present moment. Okay, so you probably heard me talk about this card earlier. There is a different message for you around this. Okay, so my entire mouth is tingling. That's about, I don't know what that's about. Oh, my entire mouth has started tingling. Okay, Kim, I'm going to check in for you around that now. Bronwyn, do you sing? Do you want to sing, or do you want to do any? Oh, what happened here? Oh dear. Oh, that was me being deaf. Sorry. Bronwyn, do you sing or do anything like that, or want to sing? Is there anything around the mouth singing for you? I'm not sure it is. I think they're working with metaphors here, but just see. Bronwyn, if you just let me know if there's anything in your world around singing. Oh, they're wanting everything to slow down tonight, don't they? Okay. I thought so. I just wanted to make sure that they weren't being specific. Oh, okay, Kim, I'm glad. Okay, Brahman, so what's happening is this, I mean, the cards come forward as enjoy the present moment. The experience that they're taking me into is one of like a sort of if you imagined getting a massage, and even as you massage, it's like releasing, and that releasing the tension, and there seems to be a profound amount of tension that happens for you around your eye and your jaw area and down into your neck area. And this tension, I'm not sure if you grind your teeth or just hold your teeth, but there's a lot of tension that then exists in this area, which is true for many of us. But even if you do the sort of actions that I'm doing, sort of just these circular movements, releasing your jaw, rubbing up behind your neck and behind your ears, there's really this releasing of the tension so that you can be more engaged. So it's almost like this tension comes so much from your relationship with time. Some of you would have seen the course that I published today. I published a whole lot of courses. One is healing your relationship with time. And time has got this very interesting perspective, or our relationship with time impacts our physicality quite a lot. So the releasing of this tension kind of helps us be more relaxed and embracing of the current moment. And a lot of this tension for you has got to do with your anxiety for the future, or your fear of the future. And so the more you can come into trusting that the present moment has got what it needs for you, and that you can work with the present moment, the more you're going to be able to unfold with life, as opposed to try and get where you need to. But really, like, if you can't get to a massage, I mean, even just doing this to myself, I almost hope that by me doing it to myself, it happens on you, is there's almost this release of tension that allows you to come into the present moment. All right, so I see there's a lot going on here. Lorianne, I am having eye pain, but the surgery was my lower abdomen. Yeah, so the surgery stuff is sorting itself out. It's this tension, it's the stress. It's carrying all the stuff that you're carrying that's causing it. I want to just, Kim, you say you have an eye condition and that the reading resonated with you. I'm very glad about that. You two seem to be connecting. So let me, Kim, let's see what your guides want to tell you, because they're asking me to do this. Okay, Kim. All right, Lorianne and Kim. I'm laughing because I have a friend named Kim and my sister's Lorianne. All right. Pleasure, Bronwyn. Kim, the message that coming forward for you is assert your boundaries. Assert your boundaries. Okay, Kim. The way your guides are talking. So, firstly, the pain that I was talking about earlier. I mean, you have pain. I can feel it. So there's different. The pain that's coming for you is coming from the back of your head. So it's not so much here. It impacts. There's a lot more pressure that's coming from the back of your head, and then there seems to be quite a lot of pressure that's happening in the sort of heart space here. And none of these things are anything to cause fear. It's just I'm connecting with the energy, so we can shift the energy of it. And one of the things that happens for you, Kim, is that you absorb other people's stuff a lot. You take on board other people's emotions, take on board other people's pain, you take on board other people's experiences, you take on board the trauma. This is a very strong something that what we call empaths. I was just talking about empaths earlier. Healers that have empathic skills tend to walk around as sponges and just take on board everybody else's stuff. And then the hard part is your body does not know what's yours and what's somebody else's. And your body can only process what's yours. That's the gift of our body, is it's available to us for our stuff. And so when I absorb other people's stuff, we put our body into overwhelm, into hyperdrive. And so the gift of the empath is to be able to feel it and then give it back, or to shake it off, like you saw me do earlier. And the ability to hold those boundaries and start noticing what is yours and what is someone else's, and to notice that distinction so that you can learn how to use your gifts in ways that are very powerful for you. So this is a psychic skill, a psychic gift, a healer's gift, being an empath, and it's something that can be used very, very profoundly for supporting and healing others, but you can't take it on, or when you take it on, that becomes the difficulty. So the thing they're saying to do is ask, is this mine or is this someone else's? And someone else's you can send back to them, and yours you can work with healing. When it comes to the physicality that's going on for you, I do pick up a lot of pressure at the back of your mind. It seems to be related to light. There's a sensitivity to light. I'm not sure if you wear glasses or sunglasses in particular. There's a need. It's not the same sort of pain that came up with Bronwyn, not with Bronwyn, with Lorianne, but there's a different kind of, there's a need for some sort of, like we put our eyes under a lot of pressure often. I mean, our eyes are constantly getting stuff, and so when we wear our glasses or we wear whatever we need to, it gives our eyes a break. It doesn't have to work as hard, and there's something about your eyes working very hard for you that would be useful to have a look into if you haven't already. So there you have it, my darling. Relene Berger, let us see. It could be. I'm not doing diagnosis because I'm not a doctor. So I'm not, and I don't do diagnosis. I can pick up the energy, I can pick up the feeling, I can tell you what it is energetically you need to do and where you need to go, but where it comes to the diagnosis, I really recommend you go to see somebody that can do that well for you. Okay, Relene, a big decision lying ahead for me. Any message for this? Let's see what your guides would like to tell you. Oh, Relena, I actually can't make this shit up, so I apologize for the card you're about to receive. The choice is yours to make. The choice is yours to make. So let me see if they can give you a little bit more helpfulness with this. When they're saying the choice is yours to make, there's a number of aspects that come into this. Is that firstly, you cannot make the wrong decision. So it's an impossibility to make a wrong decision in your life. We may make decisions where we don't like the consequences of something, or we may make the decisions where what unfolds is something that we need to learn from or something that we're going to grow from. Inevitably, that's the case. But we cannot make the wrong decision. It is an impossibility. What we can do, though, is we can make decisions based on some false data. And so clarifying data can be really valuable in helping us make decisions. What this means is like the data that comes from the mind is different to the data that comes from the heart, which is different to the data that comes from the spirit. And again, that is different to the data that comes from the body. So we all have these 4 bodies that are working together: the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual body. And we can get quite confused because these parts of us can pull us in opposite directions. But what they're all actually trying to do is contribute something so that we can notice. And then there's an executive part of us that actually does have the ability to pull these things together. So what they are saying could be really useful for you, Relene, is to sit with this decision and to ask yourself the question: my head wants, my heart wants, my body wants, my spirit wants. And just notice those 4 answers, and you can give yourself as much description as you need. And then not to make any one of them right or wrong, but to notice what do each of these need for you to make the decision that you want to make. Because there's a part of you that knows what decision needs to be made or what decision you want to make, but there's something that your physical system, like, so for example, let's give an example. Let's imagine I want to buy a house, and there's a part of me that wants to do that, but my mind is going like, oh, what if we run out of money? What if there's no this? What if we had to leave the country? What if? And the mind loves the what ifs. And so what is my mind? My mind says, it tells me all this. So when I then ask my question, what do you need? Okay, I need facts. I need to know what's the break even. What are the strategies I have in place? What advice do I need to get? And if I've got that, actually you can calm down, because I know your job is to try and protect me from this, but we're actually fine. My physical body may want something else. And so we start to have a dialogue with each of the parts of us that needs something. And this is the way that we learn to care for ourselves through decision making that can sometimes be a little bit disruptive. And disruption is not a bad thing, but like all disruption, there's a level of care that's necessary through the process. So this is more about caring for yourself through the choice you're making than necessarily not knowing what choice to make. A part of you's decided. They're saying you already kind of know the choice you want to make. It's just about pacifying these various elements in you. For example, I knew when I needed to get divorced, and I chose to get divorced, was the decision in my core was when I knew it doesn't make it easy to act on it. And there's many aspects, there's many people that weren't happy with that, there's many things going on, and that needed attending to. Rather than be the information that I'm making the wrong decision, it needs to be attended to. And they're showing me that this is a similar place of attending to what needs to be attended to, rather than saying you don't know what decision needs to be made. I hope that makes sense for you, my darling. All right, so that brings us to the end of tonight. Sending you all a lot of love and lots of healing energy for this week and every week, and really support and love every single one of the souls that I come into connection with. It's an honor and a privilege to be on earth with you at this time, and I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity to be a small part of your life. So thank you very much for showing up and for opening up and for all the love and support you give me back in return. So I will look forward to seeing you next week, if not before. Namaste.